Hi, I'm here to talk about Thomas Nagel's article on sexual perversion. Thomas Nagel examines what sexual perversion is, what is commonly misunderstood, and what is to be considered sexual perversion. He puts this under three classifications. 1. Sexual desires/practices are a perversion if they are in some sense unnatural. 2. There will always be things in debate of sexual perversion. And 3. Sexual perversion stem from inclinations. Through this article, Nagel goes on to explain the term sexual perversion is not fully understood and is often used out of context. For example, the Roman Catholic Church has deemed that contraception in any sexual act outside of procreation is a perversion. We know this to be untrue. As well as the Roman Catholic Church, societal norms play a role in this. Nagel uses the example of adultery. Although this is not a favorable act, we would not consider this a perversion because it is not deemed unnatural. Later, Nagel gives a comparison of the appetite of hunger to that of sexual appetite. Nagel states that hunger and sex are similar in the idea that they are important for our biological function. Through this comparison, Nagel turns to compare sexual perversion and hunger to examine if there would be a perversion of hunger. The answer is yes. Say, for instance, a person were to eat sand, glass, or paper. We could consider this unusual but not a perversion. We would consider this to be an odd taste more than anything else. Now, if the only way a person was able to eat was to be force-fed or had an inclination to eat living animals, we would consider this to be a perversion due to its unnatural tendency. Later in the article, Nagel turns to examine how sexual partners differ from food that satisfies hunger. Nagel uses an omelet as an example. Similar to hunger, sexual desire has a target object. In the case of hunger, an omelet; in the case of sexual desire, another person. The difference between the two here is that in sexual desire, the target object, the person, is very specific from person to person and consists of an endless amount of variables. In a hypothetical situation, if we were to have breakfast and are served an omelet and happen to drop that omelet on the floor, we will require a new omelet. Once we receive this new omelet, we can see no difference given that this omelet has all the same characteristics as the previous one. An omelet is still an omelet. In the terms of sexual desire, unlike the simple exchange of the first and second omelets, humans cannot just interchange from one particular person to another. Sexual desire implements many more characteristics that are considerably more complex than a simple exchangeable part. Although our relationships are complex, it has become a social construction that sexual desire is paired with other forms of expression, such as love. Nagel states that the pairing of these two expressions is overwhelming and not necessary. Each of these expressions are complex enough on their own, and sexual desire is not a proxy for love. Later in the text, Nagel breaks sexual desire into three stages. The first stage, sensing the other. In this case, we are seeing someone and becoming aroused. Stage 2 is sensing the other sensing. In this case, we are seeing that other person become aroused. In stage 3, we are sensing the other sensing you, and this is knowing that that person's arousal is caused by you. This creates a cycle effect in which one person's arousal becomes your own, and your arousal becomes theirs, and so on. With these steps, we can derive a clearer definition of what sexual perversion is. If a practice or desire does not complete all of these stages, it is a sexual perversion. Examples of this are sadism and misogynism. Each of these processes do not pass step 2 because they are self-centered with the self. Although I agree with much of Nagel's article, the one point I would like to contest is Nagel's three stages of sexual desire. If we look back at the stages, we have stage 1, the sensing the other; 2, sensing the other sensing; and 3, sensing the other sensing you. I would agree that for most cases these stages apply, but one of the major points made by these stages is that stages 1 and 2 are produced by the self, therefore are solitary, while the third step is communal and requires someone else to sense the other. In my opinion, this discrepancy leaves a gray area in which solitary sexual acts lie. In the case of self-stimulation, stage 1 is fulfilled. In the case of stage 2, pornographic images fill the obligation allowing the person to sense another person's arousal. When we come to stage 3, in which a communal effort is needed, we can no longer progress and fall short. Solitary sex acts are therefore classified as sexual perversions in the eyes of Nagel's system. I would like to contest that solitary sexual acts such as masturbation are not sexual perversions and are a normal part of sexual development. In extreme cases, a person who prefers masturbation over sex with another may be considered a perversion due to its unnatural tendency. But to consider a solitary sexual act as a whole a sexual perversion, I believe is an overextension of the term and should be revised.